Yesterday, an ICE agent murdered a woman, and ever since then, the MAGA losers and their lame leaders have been in overdrive, lying and concocting a narrative that Renee Good, the 37-year-old woman those masked thugs murdered, was a domestic terrorist and that the agent was somehow justified. This matters because it whips up their sycophant followers into a frenzy, which makes them storm capitals and shit. They've done it before. MAGA civilians rammed protesters with vehicles before. Their response to the criticism of that was, they shouldn't have been in the street. Well, these ICE agents were only out of their vehicles and in the street because they were trying to yank a woman out of her car and probably arrest her over an alleged traffic violation at most, which they do not have the legal authority to do. I'm going to show the video again. Viewer discretion is advised. So what I see is a Ford Explorer speeding in front of her, making her slam on her brakes. Two ICE agents getting out of a Nissan Titan and a Chevy Tahoe improperly parked, which is probably making her have to be in the street like that in order to get around it and leave. So now they are approaching her car, yanking on her door handle, trying to yank her out. And she turns the wheel after she backed up to avoid the ICE agent, and he shot her. Despicable. She backs up and turned her wheels to avoid him, and he still shot her. He was not hit like what Donald Trump claimed. He was not in front of the car like MAGA claimed. She backed up and turned to avoid him. This was murder, plain as day. Stay tuned to see me checkmate all of these MAGA bitches by exposing their lies. This is Pragmative News, and I'm Cameron. Everyone from Miss Drywall Face-Ass Kristi Noem to the person who makes couches everywhere nervous, J.D. Vance, and the head hoe in charge himself, Donald Trump, are contorting themselves into pretzels to concoct this story of the agent was defending himself from a domestic terrorist. Check out all these fucking lies. Roll it.
There, you asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened, it was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened. Next question.
The investigation is still ongoing.
I said next question.
Mr. Vice President, I mean, you presumably watched the video yourself. There's not the slightest doubt in your mind, having viewed it, that the victim, you still believe that she deliberately tried to ram him despite seeing this video?
Look, I don't know what is in a person's heart or in a person's head, and obviously we're not going to get the chance to ask this woman what was going on.
The woman who lost her life was a self-proclaimed poet from Colorado, with pronouns in her bio. A 37-year-old white woman named Renee Good. The Daily Mail says she leaves behind a lesbian partner and a child from a previous marriage. She was a disruptor, though she considered herself a legal observer, but there's no evidence she had a law degree.
President Trump has also just weighed in on this for the first time. While we play this out, I want to go to Monica Alba to give us more on that. I haven't seen it, Monica. What is the president saying?
The president is saying, Hallie, that he has just watched the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis. He says, quote, "It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was, in the president's own words, he is making this assessment. It's unclear with what evidence, but the president is saying the woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer." Again, this is the assessment of the President of the United States, who is saying he believes that this ICE officer, he says, seems to have shot her, quote, in self-defense. Again, the president goes on to say, based on the attached clip, and he does seem to have one of the angles here that he has posted on his social media platform, Truth Social. He says, quote, "It is hard to believe he is alive," again, referring to the ICE officer there. But the president says that the ICE officer is now recovering in the hospital.
This woman was not a domestic terrorist. Y'all are. First off, per the video I just showed at the beginning, she backed up and turned her wheels to avoid the agent. When he pulled the trigger, he was not in front of her car. Here's the thing that they don't want y'all to notice. They are lying. And you know how you can tell when someone is lying? Their stories change, don't make sense, and or don't match. And they always have a go-to excuse. Like, the agents are being stalked. Those are perfect ways to tell if someone is lying to you. But how does it apply to what these bitches have been saying? Well, let's see. Noam says she is a domestic terrorist and that she tried to hit the agent. Then J.D. Vance is trying to play like he's this caring person saying, I don't know what's in her head or heart, after just saying she tried to run him over seconds earlier. All with Trump posting on Nothing But Lies social, saying that the agent actually did get hit and was in the hospital. Well, the video I showed y'all earlier not only shows the front of her car never touched him, and that he even leans in for a better shot, which means he wasn't fully in front of the car like what they're trying to portray. It also shows him walking away and fleeing the scene with no limp and no visible injuries. And they always say the agents were being stalked, like it gives them permission to commit atrocities on Americans. And it couldn't possibly be the fact that millions of people are tired of them and their shit. Their stories don't match, don't make sense, and they are trying to make excuses. It's all lies. Ain't that a bitch? Checkmate, MAGA bitches. Like, comment, and subscribe to Pragmative News if you're not a MAGA bitch. Remember, you can find us everywhere you get your podcasts. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.